Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios. It is Monday, which means we are working through Paper Pumpkin today. And I had an epiphany. You know, one of the things about Paper Pumpkin or any card kits, you have a direction that you're given to go, but it doesn't mean you have to go that way. You can turn them into anything you want. You can cut them up, tear them apart, whatever you want to do, just like we've been doing, such as with the dangles last week. And I thought, you know what? Just because I have these full-size hearts doesn't mean I have to use them full size. So we're not going to today. I'm going to gather my supplies over here. I've got bits and pieces. So we're going to start with these. Now, I've shown what we can do with these. And I'm going to hang on to these last 2 or 3 for a different project. But I'm going to work with these today. Now these are supposed to be Flirty Flamingo, but I really see them more as Blushing Bride, possibly. And we could use Very Vanilla Base. Let me see if I have a Blushing Bride handy. There we go. This seems to be a little closer to what we're working with. So I think I'm going to use that one today instead of the Flirty Flamingo. I also brought out a Real Red because I want to use it with this one. So let's do that one first because I have those bases already cut. And we're going to move these out of the way. Just like that. Now, this is going to be a short one this morning. I started printing out a workbook that I need for a business class for today and tomorrow, and I didn't realize it was going to take me almost all day yesterday to do that, so I have to finish that this morning. But see, I like this with that red. So what we're going to do is, hang on, we're not going to use the red for that one. Let's do this. Let's use my Very Vanilla. Let's do a Very Vanilla card base because that's pretty much what our background is here. So let's cut this, and we're going to cut it at the 5.5. And then I have my tool here, and we're going to score this at the 4.25. I've raised my lens up a little bit, see if it helps give me a little bit more room to work for you to see what I'm doing. Okay, now this is just an X-Acto knife base with a paper clip stuck in the end. So if you don't have a scoring tool, that makes an excellent replacement. Now I do have my Stampin' Up! Bone folder that I use when I score stuff. I'm going to try and get that straight. So now we have this. Now let's get a piece of that Real Red. I don't want to cut into my mat. I want to get a scrap here if I can. And I'm going to cut that with the red scallop heart punch. I don't think Stampin' Up! Carries this anymore, but you could use a nesting die. I think that will work. You could use a nesting die for this. You could even hand cut a heart for this. And we're going to do that with that. And then I'm going to come in with this one, I hope, and get me a heart out of here with that. See, now we have a layered heart to put in the center. Don't get discouraged, we're going to use that too. I'm trying to use more of my supplies, so I don't see the one that I want to use for this. So we're just going to hand cut this one. We'll get our stamp set up here. But I'm going ahead and I'm not going to dust the edge of that one. I started to say I was going to, but I'm not. But I am going to get me some glue on the back of here. Remember, don't go all the way to the edge, because when you squish it down, it's going to spread out. And layer that one on top of that little scalloped heart, just like that. And then I'm going to come back with my dimensionals. I think once we're through Valentine's, I'm going to use one of my paper pumpkin weeks to show you a way to store your dots or your dimensionals. Right now I have them stuck in a flat case, but I have a project in mind that I want to do to make them easier to access. And then we're just going to peel these off. And see, this is going to be a really simple Valentine. Just like that. That heart right there. Now we have, I don't want the sending you love. Let's do a, I thought I was missing one on here. That may be the other set. It is. What did I do with the other one? I have this one. This is a stamp set with chameleon, and I may have put the stamp set away now that I look at it. Oh, there it is. And we're going to do the January 2019 next week and get it all worked up. But for now, we have, this is the one I was using, the Be My Valentine. So we're going to use that one. And I didn't pull out a stamp block. I love my stamp blocks from Stampin' Up! Because one of the and I didn't think about this other than, you know, just have a block to make sure you've got one that's big enough for what you want to do. But one of the things I've learned in listing with Lael is you want a stamp block that most represents the size of the stamp you're using. Now, this one would technically use, you know, a long, narrow one. But I have my long, narrow stamp busy with something else. And if you want to make sure it's straight, lay it down on your work surface and then come in and pick it up. Okay, now, I'm going to need another strip of that Very Vanilla. So let me see if I've got a strip of the Very Vanilla scrap that I can use here. And see, I have, this is how I store all my scraps for a color. This is my divider on the shelf. I want to go a little bit wider than that. Let's do this one. And let's do that in the real red ink. No, let's do it in the black. I think I want to do it in the black. So let's do this in my tuxedo black. Now normally I say, and you know, do as I do, not as do as I say, not as I do. You want to go stamp to ink pad. If you do this, you're less likely to get ink around the perimeter of your stamp where you don't want ink. And that's how you wind up when you stamp, you get lines. Now I realize this is a little long. We're going to take care of that. But I wanted to stamp here first in the center. Okay? Cover our ink pad up so we don't put our hand in it or something else. Now this one measures, oh, this is going to be hard for me to see. This one measures, that's centimeters. Let's go this way. About an inch, no, 3/4 of an inch. Okay? So I want a strip of red that is 3/4 of an inch. No, I don't. No, I don't. I want a strip of red that is going to be an inch long, or an inch wide. Because we want that border on either side. Okay? And then, see, this is going to be too long for this. I'm going to trim about 1/4 of an inch off at each end. Maybe 1/8 of an inch. Let's take 1/8 of an inch off at each end. And by doing this, we're making sure that our sentiment is still centered on our mat. Okay, can't get a hold of that. Now, that makes this a scant 2 3/4. I'm going to trim that down just a little bit. There it is. Okay, so this is now 2 3/4, so we're going to make this one 3 inches long. So that then it will fit right on there, but we're not done with it yet. We are not done with it yet. Actually, I think I am. I think I am. See, it doesn't have to be extravagant to work. Now this one I am going to dust with real red ink. I'll go into my ink box and pull out my real red. It is so nice having everything organized. If you've not taken the time to organize your space, organize your supplies, even if you've got to organize them on a couple of rolling carts and so you can craft at the dining room table, go ahead and do that. Take the time, because you will be amazed at the difference that it makes in your crafting when you can just reach for what you want. An example was my scoring tool a while ago. I have been trying for months to get all of my supplies organized into this teal carousel caddy. I've had everything sitting in different containers, and when one container got full, I just added another one. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to have this to where my carousel was over here on my desk within reach. I wouldn't believe the number of pairs of scissors I had. Okay. And that's all you need to do to make a Valentine. It doesn't need to be extravagant. It doesn't need to be hair-free, but it doesn't need to be extravagant. Okay, now I noticed that I didn't fold this correctly. So I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to use my shorties for this. Use my fussy cut scissors for this, and I probably ought to put a pair of glasses on. I'm just going to, if you hold your scissors at about a 45-degree angle, you can cut right up against the edge without trimming your top piece. Just like that. How simple that was. Okay, so there's one Valentine. Now, we are almost 13 minutes in. Let's see if we can do another one really fast. For this one, I am going to start with the real red base, but I am going to take a piece of the very vanilla, and I'm going to go ahead and trim this one down, because our base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I want to make this one 4 inches by 5 1/4. Just like this. When you're making your cards, look and see what your tools are, what you have to work with, and go for it. See, we have that one. Now I could, actually, you know what? We had the Blushing Bride here. Let's come back. Do I want to use this one? I kind of like that on there. No, not with the red. Let's come back and use our Blushing Bride. Let's use our Blushing Bride. Now what about if we put the Blushing Bride? Now that would work. So instead of using the very vanilla, let's use the Blushing Bride for a card base. Use a Blushing Bride for a card base. So we need 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we make it 5 1/2. Get our scoring tool. Oops. Turn it to the 4 1/4. And you don't even have to use your track. You can just use your track like this. And do that. Now, we have that. Now we're going to fold this. The other thing with having a tool caddy handy is I'm done with the ruler. I can set it right back to where it belongs and get it off my desk instead of losing it on my desk. Okay, so where we have a card base. Now I want to come in with a piece of that real red. And I'm going to, instead of cutting into that card base, I'm going to cut a fresh one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this at 4. And I'm going to go ahead and cut a couple of these. I've got another little scrap of red here, but that's fine. That's what I have my little scrap bag for. By 5 1/4. And see, now I already have 4 bases that I can put in my card box. So when I need a red card base or a red mat, I will have one. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so now we have this. I like that on there. What do you think? I do like that on there. And then I think I want to use this one. But again, I want to tone it down a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and use, I'm trying to decide if I want to go with this one and this one. Oh, I got an idea. Let's punch this out of 1. And we got to cut this one to where our heart, our lines are going the right direction. So let's do that. And then let's do this one. And it doesn't matter how we do this. But see, I could punch these out of Blushing Bride, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Now this one, we want it to stand up. So we're going to punch it from a piece of Very Vanilla. Looking to see if I have a big enough scrap. I do. Let's cut this one from Very Vanilla. We could also punch that from gold. That would also be nice. What I got over here for gold? Whoops. Wrong shelf. I forgot I moved everything. Now the gold that I have is not, what I'm going to pull out right now is not Stampin' Up. It was from a gift box. Oh, and I know that's super bright. Let me move this over here. Let me move this over here. Okay. And this is going to be our last card for the morning. Let's do this. Now I have 3 hearts here. And I'm going to run them this way, down that mat. And then I'm going to put this one on the gold foil. Now, I am putting that on a slick surface. So because of that, I don't want my Cosmic Shimmer fluffy stuff. I'm not seeing my Cosmic Shimmer. It should be, there it is. I want to use my Cosmic Shimmer glue because Cosmic Shimmer glue will glue to slick surfaces. So if you're gluing to foil, you are gluing to, can't get it off, you are gluing to acetate, vellum, and it will dry clear. I think it has to be poked and opened first. Yeah, it needs some encouragement. And I thought I had a pen over here. Here it is. We'll see if that helps. There we go. I think that did it. But it will glue to slick surfaces, and you won't have to worry about whether or not it's going to stick or slide around. And like I said, if you're gluing it to something like acetate, it dries clear. So we're going to take that there. And I'm going to stick my pen in here for now so it will clear that out. Okay, now I want to go ahead and glue the mat down to the base. Now next week when we come back, next Tuesday or Monday rather, I will have made up the rest of this kit and done a flip through, and then we will go into, I guess we're kind of out of Valentine's by then because these all need to go in the mail. So I will do a video as soon as I've got them all made up before I put them in the mail. Yeah. So you can see how this kit all turned out. Okay, so I've got those there. Now this one I'm going to bring up on the dimensionals again. Lost my dimensional box. And that's the other thing. If I get a book that I have all my dimensionals in, and I think that's what our project will be for next week. I'll do the flip through, and we'll do the dimensionals book for organizing my dimensionals and my glue dots that I've gotten from Stampin' Up. Okay. And then we're just going to take this one here and set it right in the center. just like that. And let's see. Instead of doing that, let's come back in. I should have some pearl dots here handy. Really quick, not pink. My embellishment box, my bling box is going to be the next thing that I do after we take care of the... Oh, here's some gold ones. I don't know if I'm going to like these. I don't know. Somewhere in here I have a pick tool. I've got this all organized. Now I got to figure out where I put everything. Couldn't get it to spin because I didn't have it back where it belonged. Okay, my Tim Holtz tool will work. Let's see. Come on, Timmy, do your thing. I don't think I like that on there. Let's get it off of there before it becomes permanent. Okay, I don't know how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to finish this. We will talk about that next Monday. In the meantime, remember to like, share, subscribe. Oh, and come back tomorrow because I'm going to be talking about the new February Junk Journal Challenge with Dear Julie. We are working with little golden books, and I have several over here stacked that I've been going to work with. So I'm going to pick one, and I'm going to try and jump in with Dear Julie. So come back and talk about that tomorrow. In the meantime, let's try this again. Remember to like, to share, subscribe, and comment down in the description box below. What do you think I should add to make this card a little more finished? Creative blessings.